Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, we'd like to welcome all of our devotees joining in from YouTube Live, from Facebook Live, and devotees who are here on Zoom. We welcome each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining in to this day 2 of Sri Rama Lila Madhuramrita. We welcome each and every one of you. Before we proceed today, we'd like to announce and congratulate the participants of the quiz contest from yesterday. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Anjudi. We'd also like to congratulate Mother Flavia, Radha Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. Congratulations to all of you for participating in the quiz question from yesterday. So yesterday we had covered, the topic for yesterday that we covered was the epitome of sweetness of Lord Sri Ramachandra, where we talked about the appearance and the childhood of Lord Ramachandra. We spoke about the Gurukul pastimes of Sri Ram, and then the first meeting of Sri Ram and Mother Sita and their divine marriage. And after the marriage, how meeting of Lord Ram along with his dearly beloved brother Bharat in the forest. And then the meeting of Lord Ram. We concluded the session with a meeting of Lord Ram with his very, very dear and confidential devotee, Sri Hanumanji.
So today we will be covering day 2, the epitome of righteousness and sacrifice. That's the theme for today's discussion. And we'll discuss today how the Lord goes with sage Vishvamitra. He protects the sages from Marici and Subahu. He delivers Tadaka, delivers Ahilya. Then how, as a perfect son, he leaves Ayodhya. How then he protects the sages of Dandakaranya. How he delivers Vali. And then finally he delivers Ravana.
Now, as we all know, that these sessions, they're not necessarily happening in exact chronology, but we are doing it according to the topic. So today's topic again is the epitome of righteousness and sacrifice of Lord Sri Ramachandra.
So there is a verse which glorifies Maharishi Valmiki. It says, Pujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhurashtaram Aruya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokulam. Vande Valmiki Kokilam, meaning salutations to the nightingale, the cuckoo, who is Valmiki. Why is he a cuckoo? Because he sits on the poem-like branch and goes on sweetly singing Rama, Rama, Rama. So here he is compared to Kokila because of his poetry, cuckoo bird. But the next verse compares Valmiki to someone who is completely opposite to a cuckoo. Valmiki Muni Simhasya Kavita Vanacharina Shunvan Rama Kadhanadam Konayati Param Gatim. Who in this world will not attain salvation? Who happens to hear the story of Ram, composed by the lion amongst the poets, Valmiki, who always lived in the forests? So here he is saying about that how he is the Valmiki Muni Simhasya. Earlier, he was compared to nightingale, now compared to lion. How can the same person be a nightingale and a lion? This we will understand in a few moments. The next verse says, Yapiban Ramacharitamruta Sagaram Arushtham Munivante Racheshtaha Makalmasham. I salute that resplendent sage who never got satisfied but forever drank the story of Lord Rama, which is like the sea of nectar. So here he's saying Valmiki's cuckoo and lion. Why? Because his Ramayana is a poetry and he sings like a cuckoo, that poetry. But he's also like lion because the message of that poetry is roaring like a lion. The message is roaring like a lion, but the singing poetry is like the cuckoo. So if we have faith in Valmiki Muni, then the messages are revealed. Now, glories of this particular Lord Ramachandra and Valmiki Ramayana is said that if we hear this Valmiki Ramayana, if we hear the glories of Lord Ram, what happens? Why should we do that? There are 4 benefits. 1, Bharjanam Bhavabijana Arjanam Sukha Sampadam Tarjanam Yamadutana Rama Rameti Garjanam. If we do Rama Rama and roar Rama Rama Garjanam, what happens? Bharjanam Bhavabijana, that the seed of material existence is roasted.
That is the first effect.
Arjanam Sukha Sampadam, and that person gets prosperity and satisfaction. Sukha and Sampada, these 2, that person collects. And then finally, Tarjanam Yamadutana.
That is the third effect.
Which means that we get delivered from the Yamadutas. They cannot catch us. So this is the pastime of, this is the glory of the pastime, listening to the pastime of Lord Ramachandra. Now, we see that we don't get to hear so many childhood pastimes of Lord Ram. Just like there are so many pastimes, childhood pastimes especially, of Lord Krishna. Why not the childhood pastime of Lord Ram? It is said that Lord Ram is Anushtan Pradhan, which means he is a disciplinarian. He sets an example of proper discipline. And therefore, only 10 verses of childhood in Valmiki Ramayana. And rest of it is all about his Anushtan Pradhan. But Krishna is Anubhav Pradhan. Anubhav means experience of the spiritual world. Krishna comes here not to set like a discipline example or anything of that sort. He is come to give an experience of the spiritual world. So we see so many childhood pastimes. All the different rasas are, Vatsalya ras and Sakhya ras, Madhurya ras. All of this we can experience in his childhood pastimes and all the other rasas as well. So Krishna gives experience of the spiritual world. Lord Ram sets an example of Maryada, Purushottam. Shri Ramachandra ki jai.
So moving on, today we will be discussing about the righteousness and the sacrifice of Lord Sri Ram. So we will start today by the glorification of sage Vishvamitra. So one day, sage Vishvamitra, after Ram, Lakshman, Shatrugna, and Bharat, when they came back from the Gurukul, they were young princes of Ayodhya. They returned back to the Gurukul, to their father's kingdom. They came back to the palace. After that, one day, the great sage Vishvamitra came to the court of King Dasharath. Maharaj Dasharath sat him down on his own throne and washed his lotus feet, and with his own hands he was serving the great sage who visited him. And Dasharath Maharaj said, please tell me, O great sage Vishvamitra, how can I serve you? What can I do for you? Please tell me, what can I do for you? So we see here how when sages visit, when great devotees visit, it's a matter of great fortune, how we should receive them when they come to our home. We should wash their lotus feet with our entire family. We should honor and respect the sage. So Maharaj Dasharath, he did all of that. And then sage Vishvamitra, he said, there are terrible demons, the Subahu and Marici, who are contaminating all the sacrifices that I'm performing along with other great sages. And they're so powerful that no ordinary living being can stop them. But I know someone who can stop them, and they are your sons, Ram and Lakshman. So I have come here to take Ram. I want you to give me Ram and Lakshman to come to the forest with me for some time, so that I can, they can help in killing these demons. So then when Dasharath Maharaj heard this, he was shocked. And due to fatherly affection, Dasharath Maharaj was not able to comply. He said, I will come, but my sons, they're too young. How can I let my sons come with you? Please let my Ram Lakshman stay here. I will come with all my army and I will help you. But then Vishvamitra Muni said, no, you have to send them, because even your army cannot help. So then, with a very heavy heart, King Dasharath gave permission to Ram and Lakshman to go along with sage Vishvamitra.
They came to the hermitage, and there were sages who were assembled in great fear. In fact, Subahu, and as they were going to Vishvamitra's ashram, there are these devatas who were showering flowers on them because they were on mission, a divine mission.
And once they arrived, when Vishvamitra was actually taking Ram and Lakshmana into the forest and bringing them to his ashram, Vishvamitra Muni also had a mission, a special mission in mind, not just to kill some of the demons, but there were a lot of things that Vishvamitra Muni wanted Lord Ramachandra to achieve, which culminated in the marriage of Ram along with Sita Mata. So this was the divine plan of Vishvamitra to bring Ram and Lakshman out of Ayodhya. So thus, when they came to the hermitage, and there the sages were assembled in great fear, because these demons, Marici and Subahu, were constantly torturing the sacrifices that the sages were performing.
And this is what they would do. They would throw blood, they would throw dead corpses, stool, urine, all of these abominable substances all over the arena of sacrifice. And then they would personally come and terrorize and kill the sages that resisted. So on this day, when they appeared in terrible, fearful monster forms, Lord Ramachandra took 2 arrows, and with 1 arrow, he killed the demon Subahu. The other arrow, it struck the heart of Marici and threw him 800 miles into the ocean.
Evil.
And so in this way, the Lord was able to protect sages from these atrocities of the demons.
Very good. So then Vishvamitra was so pleased, and then they continued because there were much more demons to tackle. So then they came upon this she-demon, and her name was Tadaka. She used to terrorize people, not just innocent people. She would just pick them up like little grass and she would eat them. She was such a dangerous dangerous she-demon. So then Lord Ramachandra, when Vishvamitra told Lord Ram to kill this demon, at that time first Lord Ram said, but my dear sage, she's a woman, how can I kill her? But Vishvamitra said that when a person is going against dharma, then we do not see whether it's a male or a female. If anyone is going against dharma, then they need to be removed. So saying in this way, look at this beautiful personality of Lord Ramachandra, how he is standing in what beautiful pose. And he's like calling out to Tadaka, come, come. Now getting the permission to finally destroy Tadaka. Lord Ramachandra, he just, shot his arrow, and Tadaka was a very powerful she-demon. She had the, mystic siddhi that she could even fly. And here you can see when Lord Ramachandra, with his great, she would burn down forests, she would do such great atrocities. But then Lord Ramachandra was very, very successful in just with one arrow, he was able to subdue the magic of this she-demon Tadaka, and Lord Ramachandra finally was able to kill her. We can see here that if you zoom into this picture, you will see that on our left side, there is small, sage Vishvamitra is so small, Lakshmana is so small, but Lord Ramachandra has assumed this great form just so that he can kill this she-demon Tadaka. And thus, Tadaka was killed by Lord Ramachandra, and everyone was thus delivered from the atrocities of the killing of Tadaka. This picture depicts that Vishvamitra, the great sage Vishvamitra, actually bestowed upon Lord Ramachandra and upon Lakshmana some divine weapons which would be needed by them. Lord Ram, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no doubt about it. But he also wanted to glorify the sage Vishvamitra. So therefore, Vishvamitra, he had some very, very powerful weapons which he had acquired also through his great tapasya and his meditations. So then he awarded those weapons to Lord Ramachandra and to his divine brother Lakshmana. And then walking slowly, when they were approaching Mithila, they came upon this very beautiful place, but it was very matted. It was appearing like an old cottage. Lord Ramachandra inquired, my dear sage Vishvamitra, whose cottage is this? And then Sri Vishvamitra, he told the pastime to Lord Ramachandra about Mother Ahilya. Mother Ahilya, who we see here, she is the celebrated wife of Gautama Rishi, the great sage Rishi Gautama. And she is said to have possessed divine beauty. And by attracting to her beauty, being attracted to her divine beauty, Indra, the king of heaven, started developing lusty desires towards her. So what did Indra do? He assumed the form of Gautama Rishi, and he came inside the little kutir, the cottage of Gautama Rishi, and Gautama Rishi had gone to take his bath in the river, and Ahilya was alone in the cottage. And Indra came, and he became intimate with Ahilya. But as soon as she could realize that this is not her husband, she could realize by his touch, this is not my husband, but then she was not able to say because he looked like her husband. But then as Indra was leaving, disguised as Gautama Rishi, the original Gautama Rishi came. And when he came, he saw this Indra was running away, as you can see here in this picture. Indra disguised as Gautama Rishi is trying to run away. And at that time, Gautama Rishi got so angry. He was so angered that he actually cursed his wife to become a stone. And then Mother Ahilya, she accepted it. She accepted it out of gratitude to become a stone. But then in her heart, she was also thinking, but what is my fault, my Lord? I was cheated. And then Gautama Rishi also understood that yes, it is not really her fault, but this was all a divine arrangement by providence. There are many, many reasons why Ahilya was cursed by Gautama Rishi. This happened in Satya Yuga. And in Satya Yuga, we all know that after Satya Yuga actually comes Dwapar Yuga. Dwapar means 2. Treta means 3. So then, feeling, sorry for what he said to his wife about the curse, Gautama Rishi, he actually said to Ahilya that don't worry, Lord Ram, when he comes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ram, when he comes, by being touched by his divine lotus feet, you will be reunited again with me. So Mother Ahilya said, okay, no problem. But then everyone in the universe, they started saying, if Mother Ahilya has to wait from Satya Yuga for the coming of Treta Yuga, she has to wait for one Yuga, one entire Yuga in between, which is Dwapar Yuga. So this appeal of the universe melted the heart of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who then changed the process of creation itself. And then he made that Treta Yuga came before Dwapar Yuga, so that Lord Ramachandra could appear in Treta. And then Dwapar Yuga was moved just in this Yuga cycle, which is the 28th cycle of the 7th Manu. This Yuga cycle, we have Satya Yuga first, then comes Treta Yuga, then comes Dwapar Yuga, and then Kali Yuga. So Treta and Dwapar changed their position, one of the great reasons being Mother Ahilya. So then Lord Ramachandra, he came, and after hearing this, Vishvamitra instructed Lord Ram that please Ram, put your lotus feet on this stone and relieve Mother Ahilya from this curse. And thus, Lord Ram, as soon as his lotus feet touched Mother Ahilya, Mother Ahilya came back to her original form, and she returned, she offered her obeisances, she glorified Lord Ramachandra, and she circumambulated the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Ramachandra offered his obeisances to Mother Ahilya, and Mother Ahilya went back to sage Gautama Rishi, to her beloved husband. This is how Lord Ramachandra, the divine Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maryada Purushottam, the Lord of righteousness, the upholder of religious principles, delivered Mother Ahilya and sent her back to her dear husband, Gautama Rishi.
So this was the pastime of Ahilya. Now we move, when he comes back, Lord Ram and Lakshman, they come back to Ayodhya, and he's being coronated as the king. Just then, one of the servants of Kekai, her name was Mantra, she came and asked Kekai that why is Ram being coronated as the king? And so Kekai said, well, it's such a wonderful thing to be. I mean, my dear Ram, he's going to be the king. What better news than this? And so Kekai said, well, this is all a conspiracy. Don't you see? You're so innocent. This is a conspiracy against your son Bharat. Why not your son? Why Kaushalya's son should be the king? Your son should be the king. She said, and KK was, Mantra, what are you saying? No, my son or Kaushalya's son, Ram or Bharat, they are both my son. She said, yes, that's what they are propagating so that you don't cause any trouble. But when the blood calls, as soon as he'll become king, you will see there'll be a change in behavior. Now you are thinking that he loves you the same as Kaushalya. But once the power comes, he will not even think about you. No one will ask about you. He will make sure everything goes to Kaushalya. And hearing this, Kaikai could not believe, but Mantra was just relentless. She was relentlessly going, oh, you should understand. I'll tell you something. You remember that boon that you had asked, 2 boons you had asked, that you had been given by Dashrath when you saved his life? Time has come to take those 2 boons. So what? Why should I bother my husband? This is the way of life. This is how you need to take opportunities knocking on your door. Not 1, 2 opportunities are knocking on your door. And so
then Manthara, she actually was poisoning the mind of KK in this way, that your Bharat will not get anything. Can't you see? This is a conspiracy of Kaushalya, that Kaushalya wanted her son to become the king, and therefore she sent Bharat away to your kingdom. See, Bharat is not even here. Now is the situation even before he becomes the king. Imagine what is going to happen after he becomes the king. In this way, Manthara was pouring poison and poison into the ears of Kaikai. And then she reminded, as Prabhu said, like 2 boons you have. You should get your 2 boons. In the first boon, you should actually ask Maharaj Dasharath that not Ram, but Bharat should get the kingdom of Ayodhya, not Ram. Bharat should be coronated as the king. And then KK said, what should be my second benediction? Well, Manthara said, you should ask that Ram should be exiled into the forest for 14 years. And then KK at first said, no. Why exile is needed? First boon is enough. If my son becomes the king, that's enough. So then Manthara explained, my dear KK, you are too naive, you are too innocent, you don't know anything. You think that Kaushalya and Dasharath and everyone else in Ayodhya will tolerate that, Bharat is becoming king instead of Ram? You should actually remove Ram completely from the picture. And this is how you must do it. So therefore, you should ask for the second boon also. So now you go into this anger bhavan, the kings and the kings and queens in those days. They had, like how in our homes, we have something called as the kitchen where we cook our food. We have something called as the dining room where we take prasad. Then there's the bedroom where we sleep. The kings and queens, they had something called as the anger room, that when someone is angry, they go to that room to show to the other person that they are angry. This is how they had, which was called as Kopa Bhavan. Kopa means anger. So the anger room. So Manthara suggested to KK, take off all your jewelry, take off your, all these, decorations on you, and then just go into the anger room and then ask for those 2 benedictions from your husband, Maharaj Dasharath. And then when Maharaj Dasharath, he heard that KK, his dear wife, is in the Kopa Bhavan, he immediately came running. And when he heard the 2 benedictions, Maharaj Dasharath's heart just was broken. He said, KK, you love Ram more than any of us. Fine, if you want to give the kingdom to Bharat, give the kingdom to Bharat. My Ram is not interested in kingdom. But why 14 years of exile? Why do you want to give this torturous punishment to my son? He is so dear to you also. Why this? Don't be so hard-hearted. And KK was determined. She at that time was so poisoned. Her intelligence was so poisoned by Manthara's words that she could not think straight. This is what envy does to us. When we feel envious towards someone, and when that envious nature is fed upon, when it is, aggravated, then we lose our intelligence. We don't even know what we're doing. So then Maharani KK, she actually summoned for Ram to come. And then, Maharaj Dasharath could not even speak to Ram. But Mother KK, she said that your father has given me 2 benedictions. And today I asked those 2 benedictions, and he is saying that he'll not give me. And Lord Ram said, please don't worry, Mother, you tell me. I will fulfill everything that you have to say. Please tell me what you have to say. And Mother KK said, the first is that not you, but Bharat should get the kingdom. Ram said, yes, of course. No problem at all. Give Bharat the kingdom. And then she said, the second one is that I want you to leave this Ayodhya and go to the forest in exile. I want you to leave for 14 years. He said, that's all. Lord Ram's reaction was, that's all you want? And he told his father, my dear father, why are you so worried? Let me go. Let me go. And Lord Ram, not even an inch, not even a thread of attachment he had. And he just said, let me go. Because Raghukul Reet Sada Chaliyai Prana Jai Par Vachana Na Jai means this is the legacy of the dynasty of Raghu, that even if our life goes, what we have said, when we have made a promise, we must uphold that promise. So hearing that Lord Ramachandra is leaving his dearly beloved brother Lakshmana and his most faithful and wonderful wife, young wife, Mother Sita, also decided to leave with Lord Ramachandra. As we can see here in this picture, that even sage Vashishta, the Kula Guru, he is also telling KK that please don't be so harsh. Don't banish them out of the kingdom. But KK would not relent. She had become very, very strong, and she could not, and even Lord Ramachandra was determined to uphold the promise that his father made to his mother, just to follow the instructions and to uphold the promise that his father had made. Lord Ram actually left the palace. So here we see that Lord Ram leaving the palace, of course, this is a plan of the Lord, because if he does not leave the palace, then how is he going to fulfill the purpose of this incarnation? He has come to deliver Mother Earth from the atrocities of all the demons, like Kharadushana, Ravana, so many demons who are torturing the sages. So Ram had to go and take care of all of this. So in spite of being stopped by, as we see here, Dasharath Maharaj being so overwhelmed that Ram, Lakshman, Sita are leaving, but still they did not stop. And not only did Maharaj Dasharath try to stop them, but all the residents of Ayodhya, they are crying. They are heartbroken that Lord Ramachandra is leaving. You can see so many people are standing in front of the chariot. The entire city is actually running behind them, behind the chariot. That please, Lord Ram, do not leave. Please do not leave. But Lord Ram, Maryada Purushottam, the epitome of righteousness, the upholder of all moral principles, Lord Ram, he is leaving to the forest. And then yesterday, we saw that how, when Lord Ram left, we saw how Bharat came, and we saw that episode that happened with Bharat in Chitrakoot. And then later, Lord Ramachandra, he actually came into the more deeper, denser forest of Dandakaranya, and he met with the sages of Dandakaranya. And the sages of Dandakaranya, they were so happy that Ram, Lakshman, Sita have come to live with them in the forest to relieve them from the atrocities of the demons. And these sages, they were so attracted to the beauty, the divine beauty and the elegance of Lord Ramachandra, that they all desired to engage in conjugal rasa, in Shringar rasa, with Lord Ramachandra. So Lord Ramachandra, here this picture is actually showing the fulfillment that Lord Ram is promising to these sages. And this promise is heart to heart, because even the sages, they did not express that they want to, enjoy in this way with Lord Ramachandra, but the Lord present in the heart of the sages of Dandakaranya, he is able to understand, and he is making this promise to the sages of Dandakaranya that when I appear as Krishna in Dwapar Yuga, all of you will be the cowherd ladies of Vrindavan. And this is that pastime that Lord Ramachandra is accepting their mood and giving them this promise. And Lord Ram, while he was there, he helped in destroying killing so many demons, especially Khara and Dushana. Here we see here in this picture, the demons, the two brothers, the cousin brothers of Ravana. These two demons, when they were killed, it was the start of the coming of the downfall of Ravana. So this is Khara and Dushana being killed by Lord Ramachandra. And Lord Ram, he also killed many more demons in the Dandakaranya forest, thus protecting the sages of Dandakaranya. Ram and Lakshman both helped in clearing Dandakaranya, making Dandakaranya very safe for all the sages.
So then Lord Ramachandra met Sugriva and Jamwan and Hanuman. And we heard yesterday in short about how Lord Ramachandra, Lakshmana met Hanuman. Hanuman recognized that now Lord Ram is my master. So he took them to Sugriva, and Sugriva gave them appropriate welcome, and hearing their plea, hearing how they were so broken-hearted, one of the monkeys said, Sugriva said, we had seen Sita Devi being taken by Ravana. And look, she threw some of her ornaments down. And these are the ornaments that we saw. And do these ornaments belong to, remind you of anyone? As soon as Ram and Lakshman saw this, Ram could not speak. He was just dumbfounded in the meditation and remembrance of Mother Sita and separation from her. And Lakshmana spoke, yes, this is Mother Sita. I know her anklets, definitely, because Lakshmana would never look at Sita Devi. Always he would look at the lotus feet of Sita Devi. And he remembered that these are the anklets. I don't know about the other ornaments, but yes, these anklets are definitely belonging to Sita Maya.
Very
And
nice.
so then he said, okay, so we want to help you kill Ravana. But we are having a problem of our own.
Mm.
We are here because my brother Vali, if I come anywhere outside this Rishyamukha mountain, Vali, my brother, will kill me. And so even if I want to help you, I'm like trapped in this mountain. And so Lakshmana, Ram and Lakshmana asked, what happened? He said, oh, it's a long story. Well, one time there was a demon called Mayava, and he had come challenged to Vali. Vali is very, very strong. In fact, Vali had actually defeated Ravana one time. And after he came back, Mayava came and challenged, and Vali was so strong. He came out, he started fighting Mayava, and then Mayava, as he was being defeated, he ran. He ran inside a cave, and Vali also followed him inside the cave. Sugriva was along with Vali, standing there if he needs any help. So Vali told Sugriva, you stand outside this cave, I'm going in, and I will kill and come back. And so as Vali was going in, for many days, there were fights going on, there were roars coming in from the cave. And then after some time, suddenly, Sugriva heard a loud roar of a demon. And then he saw some blood coming out of the cave, flowing out of the cave. And he thought, oh, Vali is gone. After a long time, Vali didn't come out. So he thought, Vali must be dead. And this roar of this demon must be his celebration of killing Vali. I have my responsibility to the citizens. So he went back after waiting several days outside the cave. And then he went to the kingdom and he said, Vali is dead. So unfortunate. And so everyone made Sugriva the king. After a few days, Vali came out of the cave. He had actually killed, but he was very tired, so he was just resting inside the cave. He came out and he went to Kishkinda. And there he saw, Sugriva, you have taken my position as the king. This was your conspiracy. And Sugriva was trying to explain, my dear Vali, I'm so happy that you are here. Come, you be the king. Oh, now you're afraid of me. That's why you want me to be the king. But previously, behind my back, you snapped, usurped the throne. I will kill you. And Vali ran after Sugriva. So then Sugriva, he ran to this Rishyamukha mountain, which was the only place where Vali could not enter. So Ram and Lakshman asked, how come? How come this happened? Actually, all of these pastimes were told by Angada, who had come later, because we'll tell all the other pastimes of how he delivered Vali. But then Angada said, actually, Vali was being challenged by another bull demon called Dundubi. Dundubi was a relative of Arishtasur. So Dundubi, he said, he started shouting, challenging Vali. Vali came out. He saw, what's the problem? What's the commotion? What's going on? He saw this huge bull demon. And Vali, he started fighting. And it was said that in the fight, he had the power to derive power from the opponent's power.
That was a special quality of Vali.
So with every blow, he was getting more and more powerful. And he started defeating Dundubi. Dundubi succumbed to Vali's power, and Dundubi started saying, please, please, please forgive. And Vali, he smiled and he just turned around the neck of the bull demon, and he took the body with his legs, with the legs, he hurled him around and threw him on the Rishyamukha mountain. On the Rishyamukha mountain at that time, Matanga Muni was doing his sacrifices, and this impure dead body and blood of Dundubi just fell on his sacrificial fire. And Matanga Rishi was so annoyed, he said, whoever has thrown this, if he at all steps on Rishyamukha mountain, he will be cursed. He'll be killed. His head will burst into pieces. And so that's the reason I ran, I escaped in this Rishyamukha mountain, so he does not do anything to me. So my only recourse is that if somehow you can help me kill Vali, we all will come and help you kill Ravana.
So then Lord Ram, he said, sure, go and challenge Vali into a dueling match. And then Lord Ram was hiding behind, as we see here. And Vali and Sugriva, they were fighting. They were very identical. And the first day, Vali was, of course, powerful. He got defeated. Sugriva got defeated. He came back and he said, Lord Ram, you made me get defeated. And I had to run away from there. So then Lord Ram said, don't worry. Tomorrow I will be able to identify you. So Lakshmana put on a special garland to Sugriva so that Lord Ram would be able to identify who is who. And then Lord Ramachandra, the next day, also he hid behind, and we can see here in this picture how dangerously both the brothers, Vali and Sugriva, are just fighting and fighting and fighting. And then when they started fighting, Lord Ramachandra, then from behind, he then shot an arrow and he immediately killed Vali. And when Vali was, dying, Vali's wife, Tara, who is one of the satis, one of the great women from our scriptures, she came and she said, my dear Lord, please forgive my husband. And then Vali also said to Lord Ram, he asked a question that, my dear Lord Ram, first of all, I am more powerful than Sugriva. I have even defeated Ravana. Then why did you not make friendship with me? Why you want to go to Sugriva? This was the question that Vali asked Lord Ram.
So he said, well, two reasons why I have killed you. One is because you did an adharma of capturing Sugriva's wife and kingdom. And when Sugriva, you banished him, at that time you took his wife as well. And for a Kshatriya, it is not adharma to hunt monkeys. After all, you're just a monkey. And in fact, I have delivered you. And Vali said, I would have helped you kill Ravana. You would have, instead of Sugriva, if you come to me, Ravana is afraid of me because I've defeated him. I would be more powerful in helping you. And Lord Ram said, I'm not looking for power. I'm looking for devotion.
So this was, and then actually Vali even questioned that, how can you kill me standing from back? You attacked me from the back. So this was the reason that Lord Ram gave, that no, it's okay for me to attack you from the back because I am a Kshatriya and you are just a monkey. I can hunt you down. So therefore, and at that time, and Vali said that, please take care of my son, Angada. Please use him in your service. As we can see here, Angad is also there. Lord Ramachandra then accepted Angad in his service and of course delivered Vali as well. So then Lakshmana coronated Sugriva And then now let us go to this final pastime that we are focusing on today, which is as the upholder of religious principles, as the epitome of righteousness, how Lord Ramachandra delivered this great demon, Ravana. So we know that Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He in fact meditated so much on Lord Shiva that he had actually been blessed by Lord Shiva to become invincible. And Ravana was actually a great devotee. He had, great scriptural knowledge. But there was one reason for his downfall. And that reason was that he actually kidnapped the goddess of fortune, Mother Sita. Because of that caused the downfall of Ravana. And we can see here in this picture, Mandodari, the good wife of Ravana, she also tried to counsel him, saying that this is one adharma that you are doing, my lord. Release Mother Sita, take her back to her husband. Otherwise, this entire kingdom of Lanka will just be ruined. Everything will be gone. But Ravana was so puffed up. He did not listen to the good counsel of his wife, because the wife is Karaneshu Mantri, means she gives very good counsel, but not in public. That, oh, you're doing wrong, you're doing this, you're doing that. No, she always gives in private, in the ear. She is telling to Ravana in the ear, so that not to insult the husband in front of everyone else. So Mandodari is also a great sati. So she is counseling her husband by saying, please give her back, give Mother Sita back. But Ravana did not budge. So then Lord Ramachandra, he decided that I have to now do what I have come here for. I have to take care of Ravana. So then Lord Ramachandra, along with the monkey army led by Sugriva and Hanumanji, they built a bridge across from Rameshwaram to Lanka. And then both the brothers, the transcendental brothers, Ram and Lakshman, they came to the shores of Lanka. So here we can see this beautiful picture that how just after crossing the bridge from Rameshwaram, this Lord Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and their beautiful transcendental army, we see huge Hanuman who's standing so tall like a mountain. Such a beautiful picture. How we see that, how they are just at the shores of Lanka. They're right there at Lanka. They have come to defeat Ravana, to kill him. So a great battle ensued, as we all know, and then the final battle was between Lord Ramachandra and of Ravana. So Ravana, he was a very, very powerful, he had 10 heads, and he had the great benediction of Lord Shiva protecting him. And sometimes Ravana would use his mystic power, and he would actually fly in the sky also, using all his mystic powers. And he would become gigantic, so huge he would become. And Lord Ram, when he would see this gigantic form of Ravana, that never deluded Lord Ramachandra, because Lord Ram's beautiful servant, Sri Hanumanji, he would also assume the gigantic form, and Hanuman would say, my dear Lord, you come on my back. I will take you and fly across the sky so that you can keep attacking Ravana. So Ravana would fly with his mystic powers, and Lord Ram, he would fly on the back of his dearly beloved servant, Sri Hanumanji ki jai. So then finally, Lord Ram, he was told by Vibhishan that the way to kill Ravana is that you attack, there is nectar in his navel. So if you attack his navel, because Lord Ram was, doing all sorts of things, nothing was happening to him. So there is nectar in the navel of Ravana. So then getting this kind of news, Lord Ramachandra immediately shot a beautiful arrow to the navel of Ravana, and he was immediately destroyed. And this is the great mercy of Lord Ramachandra upon Ravana, that how, because of the killing of Ravana, Lord Ramachandra delivered Ravana. We know that Ravana is actually one of the eternal associates of Lord Ramachandra. So he was delivered and he went back to his eternal position of being one of the gatekeepers of the Vaikuntha Palace. So this is today's presentation. We conclude here. Lord Ramachandra, the epitome of righteousness and sacrifices. Jai Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
So we will end here, and we will read the quiz questions. And if there are any questions or comments, we can take at that time while we are reading the quiz questions.
The quiz questions, let me just see if they have already arrived. We are still waiting for the quiz questions. Still, in the meantime, we can open up the lines if there's any questions or comments. Anjali, Hare Krishna. Can we please stop the spotlight on us so we can see everyone?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Just a
We
sec.
can't see you yet.
Hare Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Jai Nimai, Jai Nitai.
Jai, Jai,
Wish you very, very happy Ram Navami today.
Jai Ram Ram.
It's there
For
in India.
devotees, today is Ram Navami. Wish everyone a very happy Sri Ram Navami. Happy Ram Navami.
सबसे पहले आपको बस I want to tell all the devotees that Mataji and Prabhuji, my bhaiya and bhabhi, and Ma and Baba has sent me, from Mayapur, and you all can see I'm just turning my camera. What a beautiful surprise on Nam Navami. Can you all have a darshan?
Jai Shri Shri Natavara Nitai
Gaur
Gaur
Nataraj
Nataraj
ki
ki
jai.
Jai. So beautiful, so beautiful. Haribo.
Radha Krishna, my Laddu Gopal, and God Nitai, they are smiling to glory, and I'm smiling to the, I don't know, my feet is not on the earth today. So beautiful, so beautiful, so
Haribo.
divine.
They look
Ah,
gorgeous. They look so happy.
Beautiful,
yes,
very
they do look.
dancing, and they're when it's like they are so happy seeing all of us.
And
Their eyes are just so attractive.
Merciful, no? Just
Yeah.
pouring out mercy.
very merciful, so much of grace of Lord. Bin mange sab kuch mil gaya. And just my Ram Darbar darshan today.
Jai Shri Ram.
Raghupati Raga.
Jai.
Sita Ram. Darshan.
Jai. Beautiful.
Jai Jai
Love the
Shri
color
Radhe.
of flowers that you have. So beautiful.
And now this is a Mahabhog, Mahaprasad for everyone. I
Jai.
just offered the Rasgulla, Laddu, and mango.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Haribol.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai
Jai.
Shri
Natavaran
Radhe.
Nitai Gaur Nataraj ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. I should tell you thank you, Dandvat Pranam for this merciful, this grace of Lord. Mayapur Dham se Gaur Nitai aa gaye, aur kya chahiye? Oh God, I'm just pinching myself still, It is so much of your association has done wonders, has changed my life completely.
Haribo.
Thank
Haribo.
you so much. Deep gratitude.
Thank you, Deep. Thank you so much. Haribo.
I'll just make you darshan of my Durga Ma also.
Right. Haribo.
Haribo. Today is Navami also, and it's Navami for us. It's a very, very auspicious day, and everything is so, so auspicious today.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for the darshan, Deep. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can garima se?
Yes, beta.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Dandakaranya Pranam, all gracious Shri Prabhupada and Gurudev. Actually, today I could not raise my hand. Just not letting me raise my hand, so I just said, can I speak? That's
Of course. No
that's why.
problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just love today's class. It was so exciting. This was like no saying that it's 8:24. Okay, the class is starting in 6 minutes. I didn't eat my dinner, so I was just saying how am I gonna eat my dinner, right? Because I have to make the jewelry. So I just love today's class. And the fighting
had
of
dinner?
Vali and Sugriv and how Ram leaves the palace. And also the most fun part is Ram kills those demons, and it was so exciting to hear those stories.
Good.
Yeah, and today was a blissful class, and today I'm really excited for the Ram Navami. I'm super excited.
Very good.
Hare.
Before any festival, I'm so excited. Like on the day before Nityananda Trayadashi at night, I was so excited. I could not even sleep. Finally, I slept, and it was so exciting. So I want to show you the rest of the jewelry I made. The
Haribo.
necklaces. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And of course, these anklets and the bracelet.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's what I made. Of course, I made like a one set of two sets of everything because I have two, one God and one Nitai. So I love the class today. So thank you for the class, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, will you have dinner now?
Oh, I ate it.
Okay.
Okay, good.
That's what.
So please eat on time, bacha. Love you.
Okay.
Haribol. So before we take the next devotees, could we just please announce the quiz questions for today?
First, why is Valmiki compared to cuckoo and a lion? Second, what is the glories of hearing Ramayana?
Third, what is the reason given by Vishvamitra to kill the she-demon Tadaka? Fourth, why did the Lord change the Yuga cycle as Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga?
Fifth, what are the two benedictions that Kekai asked from King Dashrath? Sixth, what is the legacy of Raghu dynasty?
Seventh, what is the purpose of Lord Ramachandra's appearance? Eighth, why Vali could not enter the Rishyamukha mountain?
Ninth, what is the reason for the downfall of Ravana?
Haribo. Thank you so much, dearest Ranjani Gopika, for the wonderful, wonderful quiz questions. We are very grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Anyone else would like to ask? I saw Rushan raising his hand for a while.
Rushan?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji Dandavad Pranam. I
Hare.
had a question that as you said that Dwapar Yuga, Dwapar means 2 and Treta means 3. So why wasn't Satya Yuga given for 1 and Kali Yuga 4 like that?
Well, that's based on the qualifications. Quality, it said, Krite yadhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam vyajato makrai, Dwapare paricharyayam kalautad hari kirtana. So it was called as Krita Yuga or also Satya Yuga because in the quality of truthfulness is the highest in Satya Yuga. And Kali is quarrel and hypocrisy. The quality of truthfulness starts going down and down and down. And so that's why Satya Yuga and Kali Yuga. But the second and third, are decreasing in quality slowly. So they are called the second and the third. But I mean, I can't think of any specific reason. That's how the Shastras describe it. That's how we say it. But more than the name, it's important to understand what are the qualities of each yuga.
Haribo.
Okay, thank you very much,
And
Prabhuji and
interesting thing
Mataji. Hare
is, the more interesting question is, why does it say Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, which means Satya Yuga, then 3, Treta Yuga, then Dwapar Yuga 2, then Kali Yuga is 4th. Why is the second Yuga called Treta Yuga, 3rd Yuga? And why is the 3rd Yuga called second Yuga? That is the more important question.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions?
If not, we can end. Oh, one.
Yes. Swarup Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Mataji. Now, Treta Yoga is supposed to be 3 times the duration of Kali Yuga, and Dwapar Yoga is supposed to be 2 times the duration of Kali Yuga. In this particular Chatur Yoga, this arrangement has happened, and you have so wonderfully described why it has happened. But in the other, for example, in the earlier Chatur Yuga or the Chatur Yuga that will be coming, what you are trying to say is, first is Satya Yuga, then Dwapar Yuga, then Treta Yuga, and then Kali Yuga. Is that correct?
Correct.
Then what is the duration of these yugas in the earlier one and the next one?
The duration is the same.
Will the duration also change?
No, duration changes, meaning the second yuga. Okay, if you say first, second, third, fourth, if the second yuga is Dwapar Yuga, then it will be 3 times. If the third yuga is Treta Yuga, it will be 2 times Kali Yuga. So the duration of the third yuga and second yuga remain the same, just the names change.
Thank you so much.
But at the same time, because of Gautam Rishi and because of Ahilya, there is a change of Treta Yuga to Dwapar Yuga, Dwapar Yuga to Treta Yuga.
And also that the Treta Yuga, which is this 28th cycle of the 7th Manu, after this Treta Yuga, in the Dwapar Yuga, Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, from Goloka Vrindavan, he is directly coming. He is not an incarnation. Krishna himself comes in this Dwapar Yuga, followed by Gauranga Mahaprabhu coming in the Kali Yuga. So the next Yuga cycle will not have Krishna, will not have Lord Chaitanya. Other incarnations will come. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself, the Parampurush Bhagavan, he will not come in the next Yuga cycles. Even Lord Chaitanya will not come in the next Kali Yuga. This is the glory of this particular Yuga cycle. How fortunate all of us are.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Sorry, I have one question, Prabhuji. May I ask?
Yes,
Please.
Yes. Mataji, when Prabhuji, you said like being a monkey Vali, right? That's why he killed at the backside, right? Ram. So they belongs to monkey family, right? So even they do have the dharma, like as a king, as Rama, right? Being a monkey, right? They can conquer anything, and they can have a take anything like what I'm trying to say. Like they can take the other's wife as well, right? So it is the other me there called as, because he's a monkey, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Well, good logic. Good logic. But still, even though they were monkeys,
Yeah.
there are certain codes of conduct that cannot be digressed. I mean, monkeys don't really rule kingdoms, do they?
Okay.
These are special monkeys, special monkey warriors. And, like they did not move around in all fours. They're very special group of monkeys. And they had their own kingdom and everything, but they had certain codes of conduct. I mean, they had relationships. Sugriva has his wife, Vali had his wife. So he should not have just, out of vengefulness, Vali just, asked Sugriva to leave the kingdom. That was out of his vengeful attitude. And he just kept back Sugriva's wife. He, did
Yeah.
that. That was definitely a dharma.
Okay.
According
Okay,
to Lord
Mataji.
Ram, that was definitely a dharma. So,
Yeah, if Lord Ram says that, it'll be correct only. I'll obey with it. Yeah, I'll trust that word. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank
thank
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Rushan, do you have another question, or is your hands raised from the
Yes,
last?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. I had a question that we have heard that as the Yuga decreases, like when Satya Yuga to Treta Yuga and then to Dwapar Yuga, the age also decreases 10 times. Like it was 1 lakh years in Satya Yuga, in Treta Yuga it is 10,000, in Dwapar Yuga 1,000, and now 100 years. So I wanted to ask a question that this age decreases, but this time the age is this Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga is interchanged. So is it like the age will be the same for next time? For next Chatur Yuga, like for next Chatur Yuga, there will be Dwapar Yuga first and then Treta Yuga. But Dwapar Yuga's age is 1,000 years and Treta Yuga's age is 10,000 years. So will it interchange?
That will also interchange. Just like how the duration of the yugas will also be interchanged, the age factor will also be interchanged.
Okay, Mataji and Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Swarup Krishna Prabhu.
Dhanavad Prabhuji Mataji. Now, every Dwapar Yuga there is one Vyasadeva, and he would be compiling the. I mean, this is what I know. Maybe this is wrong, and he would be compiling maybe the Vedas and the scriptures for the Kali Yuga to appear. Now, in the earlier Chatur Yuga and the next Chatur Yuga, what will happen?
So it is not necessarily that in Dwapar Yuga he will compile. He will compile for Kali Yuga right before Kali Yuga. So this thing was so whether Treta Yuga comes before Kali Yuga or Dwapar Yuga comes before Kali Yuga, whichever Yuga comes before Kali Yuga, he's compiling for Kali Yuga. So he won't start compiling 10,000 years or like hundreds of thousands of years before. He will compile right before Kali Yuga, or in fact sometimes it is said that he will compile when Krishna has gone, Krishna Swadham Upagate. As soon as Krishna left, this Kali Yuga started coming in. And so at the beginning of Kali Yuga, he actually compiled, because he started seeing all these symptoms of, Manda, Manda Bhagya, Manda Buddhi. And because of that, at the beginning of Kali Yuga, he actually started compiling. Before, at the cusp of Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, at the cusp of the Dwapar Yuga was almost ending and Kali Yuga just started, because Krishna had left by then. By the time he compiled the scriptures, the Vedas, Krishna had left. So after Krishna left, Kali Yuga immediately came. And so in the beginning of Kali Yuga, he starts compiling for the benefit of people in Kali.
And Vyasa, just like how Indra or Brahma, these are actually names of the posts. You know, just like how we have the department of, you know, different departments. So just like that, this is actually a post. Vyasa is also a post. So next, you know, Vyasadev is also going to be determined, but this time there was no one to fill the position of Vyasadev. So therefore, Krishna himself expanded. Krishna, this is Shaktavesh avatar, Vyasadev is. So Shaktavesh avatar, Krishna himself expanded as Krishna Dvaipayan. So our Vyasadev for this yuga is Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas, the name of our Vyasadev. So Vyasa is actually a title or a post, which is occupied by different personalities in different yugas.
The next Vyasadev will be Ashwatthama.
Very well.
Ashwatthama was cursed in this Kali Yuga, and this entire Kali Yuga, he's just like a melting man. But in the next Kali Yuga, he'll become the next, he'll take the post of the next Vyasa after being purified, all of these things.
Hope this answers.
Hare Krishna. Very good.
Any other questions or comments?
If not, we can end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Wishing everyone in India a very happy Ramanavami. And in US, we will be celebrating it tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be discussing, the topic of discussion tomorrow will be
The epitome of shelter. The theme is Sharanagata Vatsala, how the Lord always gives shelter to his devotees.
Haribo. We look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Sweet pastime, can hear all night. So sweet. Thank you Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna Sharana Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji,
Hare
thank you
Krishna
very
Prabhuji
much.
Mataji. Thank you so much.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna
Dandavat
Mataji.
Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.
Happy Ram Navami to you all.
Thank
Happy
you.
Ramanavami to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much.
Hare
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Happy Ram
Hare
Navami. Happy
Krishna.
Ram Navami.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for answering our questions, and also happy Ramanavami. And thank you for very much for these wonderful sessions.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you.